Hello and welcome to the United Stand. How are you all doing? Would you sign Milinkovic-Savic at Manchester United? We'll also be talking about Willian versus Bale and Dembele rumours, even Patrick Van Aanholt rumours. But we're going to start off with Milinkovic-Savic. I'm sure a lot of you saw him play for Serbia tonight. Should we be signing Milinkovic-Savic? Have you flip-flopped? Have you changed your mind after watching him play 90 minutes for Serbia? Is that what football's become? Judging somebody on a World Cup game? Or would you be right to do that? I want to take a lot of your opinions. Also, link in the video description for BetBull. If you are over 18 years of age, please do gamble responsibly. Great little app that you can use if you are betting over the World Cup, where you can follow lots of different tipsters. They've got their success rate and their stats there, accumulators. Link in the video description for that. But I liked this comment from Sandeep before we even went live. He said, come on, Milinkovic-Savic is young. Do not judge him already. At least those who've seen his game from Serie A know how good he is. It will say you'll see below me why United must sign Milinkovic-Savic. I haven't changed my opinion. I'm more than willing to take your comments tonight because I want to know what Manchester United fans feel. I want to know why you feel it. I mean, are you going to put pen to paper, so to speak, in the live comments and say, we don't want him, he's overrated, and allow me to say you're basing it on a World Cup game against Switzerland where he's played out of position? But Matthew McFadden says it's hard to judge Milinkovic-Savic on 2 World Cup games. He's a centre midfielder being played as a target man next to Mitrovic, another target man. Basic tactics won't work. Look, what I would say straight away is that I believe that Manchester United should sign Milinkovic-Savic, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But the reason I want us to sign Milinkovic-Savic is because he is the most Jose Mourinho midfielder you will ever come across. He's basically Fellaini, who's good on the ball, can dribble, can score goals, and can pass. He's basically a brilliant Fellaini. He's nothing like Fellaini, but he gives Mourinho that Fellaini option of being tall, of being a target man, but he brings everything else into play. He's perfect for Mourinho, and he's also perfect for Manchester United fans because he's a flair player. He can score goals, he can create goals, he can dribble, he can pass. Now, if you have only seen Milinkovic-Savic playing tonight for Serbia, you would be like, bloody hell, why do we want to spend £100 million on him? But as Matthew just said there, and I've got it in my notes to say it, that's not Milinkovic-Savic tonight. They scored an early goal and tried to defend it, but they kept Milinkovic-Savic playing as a target man, and he hardly had any ball to play with. He was also carrying an unjust yellow card for a lot of the game, so he lost a lot of his flair. He's aggressive, but he's a midfielder. He plays in a midfield 3. That would be like playing Paul Pogba as a target man tonight. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So if you are going to come on the live comments saying don't waste money on him, he's overrated, I think you are portraying yourself as being somebody who's only actually watched him in the World Cup. And I personally feel that you cannot judge players on the World Cup. If you're judging players on the World Cup, I really liked that 22-year-old centre-back for Switzerland tonight. I wouldn't sign him based on that performance. He shouldn't be in our top 6 centre-back targets. And also, Shaqiri was bloody brilliant tonight, and he's available for 18 million. I'm sure people in the live comments and on Twitter will be saying we should sign Shaqiri up. It's ridiculously stupid. He plays for Stoke City. He doesn't play like that week in, week out for the last couple of years he's been at Stoke because he's ridiculously inconsistent. On his day, Shaqiri is a good player, but he's not. This is international football. This is throw people together, and some people perform and some people don't. Look at how crap Messi was last night. Messi's still one of the best players in the world. You'd still take him in a heartbeat, but he's crap in international football because it's not the same. It's not the same standard as the Premier League or the Liga or the Champions League. So Shaqiri rumours, park them in the bin. I don't want Shaqiri anywhere near United. Let him go and be a crap, inconsistent Liverpool player on their bench because he's proved himself to be that at Stoke. You've got to be very, very careful. I said in this World Cup, I think Jesse Lingard will be brilliant. Doesn't mean he shouldn't be on the bench for United every week. He's a squad player. Very careful about World Cup and how you judge people. And it works both ways. And Messi is the perfect example of that. Messi's crap for Argentina, but he's still the best player in the world with Ronaldo by a long, long, long way. Mark Atherton says nobody would have ever signed Rooney based on his World Cup performances and he became our all-time top scorer. What a fantastic comment. But in relation to Milinkovic-Savic, I mean, Red Jedi says drop Pogba for Savic. No, but you're not basing that on anything, Red Jedi. You're basing that on watching him in the World Cup. Have you watched him in Serie A this season like I and many other people have? He's been absolutely brilliant in a team that's like Everton against the top 4. So it'd be like him playing for Everton against the top four in the Premier League. He's been brilliant. He's scored goals, he's created goals, he's tackled, he's dribbled, his passing range is good. We saw none of that tonight. We actually saw nothing of what he's about tonight because he was restricted to being a target man with Mitrovic. They didn't play to his potential at all tonight. At all tonight. And I tell you what, one of Serbia's best players was Tadic, who's been crap in the Premier League for the last year. So it just shows you've got to be very, very careful. Jeff Ka Ming Tam says, if we have unlimited budget, then yes. But unfortunately, we aren't PSG. We have to spread the money on left back and right winger instead. Forget about depth. We need a proper starting 11. Then we can think about depth. Thanks for the contribution, Jeff. I don't know where we're going with this, though, because people are talking about a left-back, which I totally agree with. But now, why is right wing suddenly an important position for us? I'd like us to sign a right winger, and I want us to talk about Bale and Willian in a minute. I'd like us to sort a right winger, but why is everybody suddenly thinking the midfield? Sure, the midfield is sorted because we've signed Fred. Fred just replaces Carrick. The midfield was woefully knackered last season and had no depth. We've still only got Pogba, Matic, Herrera and McTominay. Now we've got Fred. 5 midfielders when we play a midfield 3. And don't talk to me about Fellaini, and don't start predicting about Fosu Minza and Pereira, because we've got no idea whether they're going to be loaned or sold. The reality is we've got McTominay, Pogba, Matic, Herrera and Fred. 5 midfielders for 3 positions. It's not enough. We need another midfielder. You're right about a left-back, but we need another midfielder. And if it's not Milinkovic-Savic, as I asked on the Transfer Daily Show this morning, who is it? And you've got people saying Verratti, Vidal, and it's like, well, I still think we should go for Milinkovic-Savic. I still do. I'm not going to be a flip-flop. I respect your opinions, but I'm not going to flip-flop on this because of a World Cup game where he was played out of position. I've seen what he can do for Lazio, and actually, that plays in our favour tonight because he ain't going for £130 million based on what his performance was tonight. If they've now got to beat Brazil or they're going home. So Milinkovic-Savic isn't going to have a worldy World Cup, is he? Lazio will be like, oh shit, you know, we wanted him to be brilliant in this World Cup. We wanted 130 million. He's now dropping round to about 80 million again now, and that is a price that United should be playing for him. He ticks so many boxes, and I would be absolutely ecstatic if we signed him because that's not him tonight. And let the haters hate. But I'm telling you now, I watch a lot of Serie A football. He is a very, very good player, and he would be perfect for Mourinho, and he would be a brilliant Manchester United player. I think we should go for him. He's too slow, says Adatio. He did look slow today. But so did Matic. So did most of that Serbian team. They looked very leggy today, and I don't know why that was. I'll admit Milinkovic-Savic looked about a yard slower than he normally is today. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. He looked very leggy. I do agree with you on that. Tactics has to change, says St. Columbo. Thiago's a playmaker, says Red Devils fan. Look, if we go and get Thiago, I'd be very happy with it. Make him an offer he can't refuse, says Lion Pride. Savic was nowhere in the match, says Sunil Power. Look, yeah, good, okay, I'll read the comments, but you're only reinforcing what I've said. Pankaj said he would be perfect for us. He can adapt, says Gazel Cesar. 80 million is too much and he is too slow, says Stephen King. But again, I'll ask you the question, what are you basing that on? What are you basing on the fact that he's slow and 80 million is too much? You're basing it on 90 minutes of World Cup football. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Unless you've been watching Lazio play over the last season for Milinkovic-Savic, you wouldn't say 80 million is too much and you wouldn't say he was too slow. That wasn't him tonight. And I'm really pleased he's played like that tonight because I think it strengthens our hand and I still think he is the defining signing of our summer. If we go and get him, we can challenge for the title next year, and I firmly believe that. And I'm not going to be a hypocritical flip-flop and start saying he's crap and slow, because you can all laugh at me now based on that performance, and that's fine. I stick by my opinions because I've been saying we should sign Milinkovic-Savic for months before this World Cup, months before the Premier League season ended, because I've been watching him for months in Serie A, and he'd be a great signing for us. And just because he's had a bad performance tonight, laugh at me, mock me, that's fine. But I'll base it on months of watching him, not one bad performance where he played out of position. And for some reason, I'll agree, was inexplicably tired. But I think the whole Serbian team looked really tired and leggy. I don't know why. Maybe it was too hot. I don't know. I can't explain it. They all look tired. Sergio Moreira says he looks like he's at the end of his career. Savic is the perfect fit for us, says Mukti91. 1 minute it's on, then it ain't. Mark, stop blagging everyone. Just trying. AB, goodbye. You're finished on the channel. This is a debate about whether we'd sign Milinkovic-Savić. Not one person has said on this video tonight that we're going to sign him. Sit down. We need to stop signing slow players. We need to match the league's speed, says Adam. He's not slow. He's not slow. He's not a slow player. Craig McCullough Games HD, Savić is like Fabinho, good player all round, be stupid to miss out on him. And Jossie Tutu says, I think Savić is overpriced. Pogba was far better player when he was in Serie A. Defensive tactics make even the best players look bad. I don't think Pogba was much better in Serie A actually. I mean, I've been watching Serie A for years, and Pogba was a good player for Juventus, and he scored a good handful of goals, but he didn't have a season like Milinkovic-Savić has just had in a crap team, basically getting them to 5th in the league. Sam Howe says he doesn't want Savić. John says stick to your guns. I'll stick to my guns, mate, because I think it's a bit. I haven't seen a comment from anybody saying they don't want Milinkovic-Savić based on anything that I would actually agree with, and that's not being a dictator. All I see is people judging him on tonight's game, and I agree with Michael B. He did look very, very slow tonight. He did. I will put my hands up. Milinkovic-Savić looked really slow tonight. He did. But he's not slow. He's not a slow player. He didn't look slow in the game against Costa Rica. He looked ridiculously slow tonight. But Matic looked like he was running through porridge. So did Kolarov, who's quite quick getting forward. Mitrovic looked slow. The whole team looked slow, and I don't know why that was. I don't know why it was, but he's not slow. Lazio play an open style of football, so Savić won't help like he did in Lazio for us, says Oshan Morgan. I have a theory that Pogba is still struggling with the speed of the midfield in the EPL. What if Savić is the same? Very good comment, Rutvik. Very good comment. And Munip Adamo says Milinkovic-Savić is half the reason Immobile had so many goals, which is true. He scores goals, but he creates goals, and we didn't. That was a poor performance from Milinkovic-Savić tonight. It was. There was a moment in the last 5 minutes where he played a bad. I think it was actually stoppage time. He played a bad pass in his own half, and then he didn't chase back either. And that, you know, he was poor tonight, but I think that plays into United's hand. What do you want? This is a player that I think United need to go and get. What would you rather he did? Had a brilliant World Cup and we get outpriced by Real Madrid, or have a crap World Cup like Messi, but you know deep down he's a good player and we still go and get him? I'd rather he had a crap World Cup, because all I'm bothered about is Manchester United. Ooh, what do I think about Matic as captain, says Devil's Ace? I think Matic has shown some real aggression in a Serbian shirt that I haven't seen from Manchester United. Why does it matter more for him for Serbia than it does for United? I don't know. Abanaf Shori, where would he play? I think Matic, Fred and Pogba would be a better midfield than Matic, Savić and Pogba. Should get a backup CM like Seri instead. See, that's a relevant comment. I mean, all your comments are relevant, but that's a relevant comment in relation to where would Milinkovic-Savić fit in at Manchester United. To be honest with you, does he have to start games? Do we have to have a very narrow opinion that we've got 3 first-choice midfielders? How about we have 5 midfielders and you never know who's playing week to week because they're all good? You know, Herrera might suit a game. Matic might need to be rested. He certainly does. And you might drop Fred to CDM and play Milinkovic-Savić. Pogba might continue to be inconsistent and need to be dropped, and you play Milinkovic-Savić. I think we need four first-team midfielders for 3 positions, because that's how you win titles. We need Dybala or Griezmann, says Dude. Well, we ain't getting Griezmann, and I don't think we're going to get Dybala. King Zed said today that Savić showed today that he's not worth 150 million. I'd rather sign a promising 21-year-old box-to-box and Dembele for 40 million. I'm gonna drop on that comment for a minute. King Zed says that Savić showed today that he's not worth 150 million. But Messi last night showed that he's not worth 20 million, when we all know that Messi's worth 500 million. You can't tell. You cannot define a player's price on 90 minutes of football. You just can't do it. You cannot do it. And I've said this so many times about this World Cup. Be very careful about judging players one way or the other on World Cup games, because history shows you some people will be good in the World Cup and some brilliant players will be crap in the World Cup. And Rooney's a prime example as well. You cannot judge somebody on the World Cup. Anyway, we can come back to Milinkovic-Savić, because we're going from one touchy subject to another now, because I do want to talk about Willian and I do want to talk about Gareth Bale, because I think that is really really a topic for debate that, again, somebody in the World Cup who hasn't played particularly well. But first of all, we've got the link in the video description for BetBull. What's BetBull all about? Well, as you can see here, it's a betting app, so you've got to be over 18, and please do gamble responsibly. But basically what BetBull does, if you are betting on the World Cup, which a lot of people are at the moment, it's a really good app actually, because it's got a lot of people on there who are like tipsters, where you can click on them, you can look at what their recommended accumulators are, and it will show you all their history about what their success rate is like. So if they've got a 90% strike rate or anything like that. And with World Cup accumulators, it works really well. So as you can see, you've got top winners, and you can join the winners like there. 48 people won £2,000 following that particular accumulator there. So the link's in the video description for BetBull there. Download the app. It's available free on Apple and Android, and all you've got to do is you can set up your own accumulators. You can become your own tipster if you fancy yourself. Set your own account up, do your own accumulators, and people will start following you, and you can get higher grades as a tipster yourself. Or just use it, go and have a look at somebody like that bloke there, jump on somebody else's accumulator, and then win yourself some decent money. So links in the video description for that. Remember, you've got to be over 18, and please do gamble responsibly. If you are betting on the World Cup, which I know a lot of you are, BetBull's a great place to do it, and it's a great place if you're a little bit lazy like me to jump on somebody else's tips that look quite good. So link in the video description for BetBull. Give it a download, it's free, and get some winnings on the World Cup. Let's knock that off, and let's come back to you on the live comments. There's no way Rakitic will be let go by Messi. Rakitic, I think Milinkovic-Savic is a better player than Rakitic. Sorry, I'm going to get a load of pelters, but I do, because you're judging Milinkovic-Savic on 90 minutes against Switzerland, and that is all kinds of wrong. Anyway, I'm going to judge Willian now and say he was crap today, so we shouldn't sign him. I'm not. Willian's been poor in this World Cup. He was very poor against Switzerland, and he was very poor in the first half today against Costa Rica, and he was subbed for Douglas Costa, who I like, but who United won't move for. But United seem to be set, and Mourinho seems to be obsessed with bringing Willian to Manchester United. Now, Willian against Manchester United in the first half at Old Trafford when we beat them was brilliant with Hazard. He was absolutely brilliant. But Willian has spent a lot of last season on the bench, and we as Manchester United fans are more than happy to mock Conte and say, yeah, we're going to get Willian because he hates Conte. But what if Conte is right about Willian? What if Conte was right about dropping Willian because he's brilliantly inconsistent? And that's why Conte didn't pick him. And I would put a question to you. Would you rather Manchester United signed 30-year-old Willian for 40 million quid, or would you rather we spent £100 million on Gareth Bale, who is 29? And I do flip-flop on this, because I think Willian's a good player, but I don't think he's the player that Mourinho thinks he is anymore, and I don't think he's the answer for what Manchester United need when we've got Matic, who's nearly 30, Alexis Sanchez, who's nearly 30, and then you bring Willian, who's in nearly 30, and I think Willian looks ridiculously inconsistent. Even at Chelsea last season, he looks inconsistent. So I think I'd rather see Gareth Bale. I would. I know that means that we probably, if you sign Willian, you've got 60 million you can spend on another area, and that is important. But should you cut corners to buy more players if the player that you're cutting corners on isn't good enough? I mean, to be honest with you, I know there's no chance of it happening, but I'd love to see us go and get Perisic. I mean, as I say, I watch Serie A a lot, and how he plays for Croatia is exactly how he plays for Inter Milan. He is a player who can take his club form to international level. Some people struggle with that, but he doesn't. I think it's such a shame. I said it on August the 31st last season, that not getting Perisic will come back and bite us. And I don't think it's been spoken about enough, because it wasn't Mourinho's fault. Mourinho wanted Perisic, Woodward didn't deliver it. And all season we had nobody who could cross. And I think Perisic would have been brilliant for us, and we didn't go and do that deal. I don't think we can get Perisic now, but if we could get Perisic, I would take him tomorrow. Would I take Willian? There's just something a bit airy-fairy about Willian. I think when his head drops, he's inconsistent. But some people think that he would be good. Ayesh says, yeah, get Perisic. Why isn't anyone talking about Rebic, says Akash Kumar. I think because Rebic is a World Cup player, isn't he? He's doing really well in the World Cup. He was at Fiorentina. He's now at Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, Eintracht Frankfurt is one of the pub teams in Germany that Bayern Munich batter every week. So Rebic has been very good in the World Cup. He's 24. he's not somebody United are going to look at. I did say last night I really like the look of him, but you're basing it on World Cup form, aren't you? Don't want any more ageing Chelsea players, says Alex Ball. And no more old men, please, says Gazel Cesar. Perisic was never going to close the 20-point gap, says Vandy Candy. I agree with that, but he would have closed it by about 5 or 10 points, because somebody who can cross the ball from corners, Lukaku would have scored another 5 to 10 goals. Simple as that. Take the chance on Lozano, says Chris Thompson. Bored of all these old signings. Want some enthusiastic young players who actually show they care. Irving Lozano annoys me because 2 years ago I did a video. You can search it on the United Stand. Just type Irving Lozano, the United Stand. I'm in a hotel room in London and we get linked to him 2 years ago when he's in Mexico. And I say a lot. I really like the look of him. He's an exciting signing. If Mourinho wants to sign a sign-up player like that, I mean, I can't remember exactly what I said, but it'd be something like that. 2 years later, I predicted he'll be one of the dark horses of the tournament with Mexico. Barcelona are after him now, apparently. I mean, it's just bloody typical. 2 years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson would have signed him. That's the sort of signing Sir Alex Ferguson would have done. He got Hernandez from Mexico. 2 years later, we've missed the boat. And he's Mino Raiola's client as well. I would love Irving Lozano, but we won't do it. Mark, can Bale still do it in the Premier League, says Pankaj? I'd still take him over them. Akash, you're being really disrespectful. Really disrespectful. If we've got Snaps or anybody on there, he might just keep an eye on Akash, calling Lazio a pub team. Serie A's not a pub league, mate. Germany's a pub league because it's got one dominant force who win it every year. France is a pub league because the standard's crap below 2 or 3 teams. Serie A is up and coming. Brilliant signings being made in Serie A. I've watched Serie A since the 90s. I still watch Serie A because it's a very competitive league. It is slow. It's not as good as La Liga. It's not as good as the Premier League, but it's up and coming. Money is going back in there and it's getting better. But one thing about Serie A, even when Serie A was dominant in the early 90s, it's always been a bit slower than the Premier League. I'll give you that. Thanks, Bawaha. I did mention Lozano. I've mentioned him a lot. I'm 22 years old rapper from Sweden who's trying to make it. Please share, support and subscribe, says Foreign. Well, you just had an inadvertent shout out there because I've looked at a comment and I've read it, and I shouldn't have read that really, but there you go. Foreign is a DJ from Sweden. Manny, you're out. See you later. Don't repeat troll comments, you'll be gone. I saw Savic tonight and I wasn't impressed. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. CJ says, I hope we don't get Savic. I'd like a little bit more than that, to be honest, because you're just coming across as a flip-flop Arsenal fan if you're judging him on one game. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but if I actually spell it out, not as me, United fan judges a player on 90 minutes in the World Cup and says they don't want to sell him. Do you realise how flip-flop that sounds? How naive that sounds, that you are going to judge a player on one 90-minute performance when he's been played out of position. It's a concern. You've got to think he's had an amazing season for Lazio. How am I judging him on 90 minutes? You've got to think that. And I would, you don't have to listen to me, but I think he'd be a brilliant signing and I'd still do it. And I think it benefits us that he's had a bad World Cup, to be honest. I'm going to talk about Ndombele now. He's at Lyon. He's been on loan for Lyon for a whole year. And today the Manchester Evening News has said that Manchester United might be interested in him. He's in his early 20s. He's basically got everything. He's fast. He's a bit of a beast. He can tackle. He can pass. He's a good player in the French Pub League. But he is quite... there's been players who've come from France who've done well as well. Just because it's a pub league doesn't mean French players can't come from that league and do well. And I will say that. But United have been linked to him, but Spurs are all over him. Spurs are all over him. And I've not seen a lot of this player, but a lot of you lot have spoken to me about it and emailed me about it and sent me messages about him. And from the brief little bit of research I've done on him, he looks good. He looks good. I can't put my hands up and say I've seen loads of him, but he does look good. The fact that Spurs are in for him makes me think he's good, because Spurs are very good at picking up that sort of player. Now, he's only just signed for Lyon. He was on loan at Lyon for a whole season and they bought him for about 8 million. Now, you'd think he's never going to be sold because he's only just signed for Lyon after a year's loan. But apparently Lyon are happy to sell him because they're going to sell him for such a massive profit in such a short period of time. Josie Tutu says, I love your chat so much. As a Manchester United fan in the United States, I hope Mourinho changes his tactics for next season. Tired of second place. We all are, mate. And Jeff Cumming Tam says, we desperately need a right winger because of the exact same reason as why we need a left back. Our attack on the right hand side was crap last season and we need balance. Jeff, I do agree with you. I'm just a little bit concerned why people are moving away from we need another midfielder. We need another midfielder. One midfielder is not enough. Nobody's seen Fred play. Nobody's seen Fred play yet, and they're like, we don't need anybody else. Now, I think Fred will be good, and I will judge him over the season, not the first 2 or 3 games. What if Fred plays for Brazil against Serbia and he's crap? Is he crap? No, he's not. Let's see what he does in the United shirt. But we do need another midfielder. And I'll tell you what, if Fellaini signs the new contract, we may as well give up straight away because we're not winning the league. He has to go and he has to be replaced. Manchester United are interested in signing Jordi Alba, says Don Ballon. You know when you read a comment and you wish you hadn't? Don Ballon. Don Ballon. They're not even the Sun, mate. That is not even worth it. And Jordi Alba, as I said this morning on the United Stand Transfer Daily, Jordi Alba doesn't want to leave Barcelona. From his own mouth, I want to finish my career at Barcelona. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. What he wants is a new contract. We've got nearly 2,000 people watching, which is fantastic on a Friday night. Please do drop a like on the video. It would be absolutely amazing to hit 1,000 likes, but it'd be nice to hit 500 likes while we're live. What about Ashley Young for right wing? As long as it's not left back, Josh James, I'll be very happy. Right, we've spoken about a lot of things tonight. Whack into the live comments and give us your thoughts. I've covered most of what I wanted to cover. But yeah, whack your thoughts in the live comments. Let's see what people have got to say. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the Milinkovic-Savic debate because I'm all open to Yomi. I'm never going to read your comment out for typing stuff like that. I'm not thick. Thanks for the contribution, Rakesh Kanan. Yeah, give us your thoughts. I mean, if you don't want Milinkovic-Savic, by the way, just take the extra few seconds to put why. I'm not going to read out he's overrated, he's crap, he's slow, because there's no substance to what you're saying there, and we've read a few of those out. If you don't want Milinkovic-Savic, please tell me why and what alternatives there are, and I'll happy to read some of those out. Would you take Julian Brandt at right wing? He looks good, but I would have took Sane to the World Cup, to be honest, even though he plays for City. He looks quite good. I don't think he's what Mourinho would go for. Even if Savic is world class, I prefer a world class left back and centre back rather than a world class midfield substitute, says Michael B. I think it's dangerous what some fans are doing. I think they're thinking we're all right in midfield, and I'll repeat what I just said. Pogba, very inconsistent, going into a season like Mourinho's, where if he doesn't get it right, he'll be sold. Matic got overworked last season, not particularly quick. McTominay doesn't look anywhere near ready. Herrera had a very weird season last season. Will he even be here next season? Fred, we don't know anything about him, but he's a new signing. That's it. 5 midfielders for 3 positions, and none of those 5 filling me with confidence. We need another midfielder. We need another midfielder. And it amazes me that people want to look at other situations and other positions when we need another midfielder. Mark, Savic can be better than Kevin De Bruyne if he came to United and was played in the right position, says Ed Woodward. Thankfully, somebody is speaking a bit of sense. Savic is similar to Pogba. No, he's not, Antonius. Mark, a right winger and a left back is more important than a midfielder, says Young Lord. I wish you could have answered that better because of what I just said there. We've got people who can play right wing. We've got people who can play left back. We haven't got enough. We haven't got enough in the midfield. Why did United do so badly last season? Why did we do so badly last season? It's a rhetorical question, but I'll tell you why. Because we moved the ball from midfield to back too slow, and we got cut through the midfield because we were too slow. We need more in the midfield. Fred can't solve everything. That's what basically, there's no difference between our midfield last season and this season coming up other than Fred. And people are saying we're fine. You are saying a player that you've probably never watched more than 3 times from the Ukrainian league solves all of our problems last season. You're having a laugh. We need 2 midfielders. You cannot know enough about Fred to know that he can solve our midfield problems, and you cannot put it all on one player anyway. What if he goes and breaks his leg in the first game and he's out for 6 months? We're back to the same midfielders last year. And I'll tell you now, I watched United play at Huddersfield twice, Newcastle away, West Brom at home, and get dominated in the midfield with Pogba and Matic. So we need another midfielder. Categorically, I agree. Left back is very important. I'd love a right winger and I'd love a centre back. But don't tell me we don't need a midfielder, because the midfield is why we were so poor last season. It got Sevilla absolutely dominated our midfield. We need more than Fred. I'm guaranteeing you that. Sandro for 60 million, right winger for 60 million and 100 million for Savic. Rakitic would be better buy for 40 million. Look, Jazzy now, if we can get Rakitic, I'll sign Rakitic, but I don't think we can do it. Khedira, oh no, he's too slow. He's too slow. Now, he is slow, and not just in one game. United should go for Pjanic, says Mark Fresh. Look, I liked the look of Pjanic when he went from Roma to Juventus. Apparently, Barcelona liked the look of him. Lingard and Mata on the right wing will not win us the league, says Jeff Carming Tam. Yep, I agree with you. Savic is very young, so huge price tag is a risk, says Sam Fennick. I don't think Milinkovic-Savic is going to go for much more than 80 million. In fact, he's probably quite likely to go to Juventus now. I think if he'd had a great World Cup, Lazio would have been saying we want £100 million plus. If they go out against Brazil, which is looking likely, they're not going to be able to go over 100 million. They're probably going to have to sell for 80 million, which brings Juventus back into play. A bad World Cup for Milinkovic-Savic was always a good thing for United because it would lower the price. It's just whether we go for him or not. And I think we should, because he is the prototype Mourinho player. He's the target man that Mourinho wants. But he also brings what we want, which is flair, ability, goals, assists, passing. He's got all of that. So Mourinho gets what he wants and we get what we want. I still say, as it says below, sign Milinkovic-Savic, because I'm not going to be a flip-flop and say, I've wanted him for the last 6 months, but a bad game against Switzerland is rubbish when he was played out of position and he was mysteriously slow. I don't know why that was. The whole Serbian team was slow. I admit that. Christian Carpenter says, if we don't sign a midfielder, I'll be okay with a centre-back because we have Blind who can sit in the midfield. How do you feel, Mark? Oh. I'm sorry, Christian. I feel some sick in my mouth just came up. Daley Blind in the midfield. This has been tried twice. Van Gaal tried it at the start. It failed. Mourinho tried it in a game last season and he was atrocious. He is way too slow and way too one-footed to play in the middle of the pitch. He has to play left-sided, Daley Blind. And Daley Blind needs to be sold. If Daley Blind's still here next year, I'll give up on Mourinho. I really do. I don't, but I do. I don't, but I do. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't used Daley Blind all season. And if he keeps him, what's going on in his mind? Don't not use a player all season and then keep him. Let him go. He's not part of your plans. Why would he suddenly become part of your plans when you didn't use him last season? Daley Blind's got to go. Darmian's got to go. Fellaini's got to go. If them three are here next season, or any of them, we're in trouble. We are. Verratti, Mark, says Shaka. I'd take Verratti. I'd take Verratti, yeah. Blind is a midfield player. No, he's not. He's not. He is not a midfielder. Well, he might be an Everton midfielder. He's nowhere near a top 4 midfielder. Nowhere near. What about Dendonka, says Salesh. Gone very quiet on him, and it'd be a bit of a risk. He would be a bit of a risk. Is Cruz a possibility? A lot of people saying Cruz, says Sanmo's one. It depends what Real Madrid do. If Real Madrid sign a couple of midfielders, it would become that. It would become that. Zlatan, if United signed Milinkovic-Savic, Sandro, Willian and a centre-back, I'd be very, very happy. I would be very, very happy. Golovin, says Jason Price. Golovin is having a good World Cup. And he plays in Russia. I think it's a risk. He's not playing in a big league, is he? You know, Milinkovic-Savic plays in Serie A and does what he's done. Ndombele's doing it in the French league. It's better than the Russian league. The Russian league is... Let's see if Golovin does it against a decent team. James Rodriguez, I would love. Calamity Jones. Kovacic, I would love. Red Devils fan. And if he's got a 50 million release clause and he wants to play more, Kovacic would be a very good signing. But can you do business with Real Madrid? I don't know. Akash, thanks for the contribution. Let's see if we can get 500 likes on the video. Please do drop a like on the video, everybody. It's been a cracking stream tonight for a Friday night. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. United MD, Mark, I agree with you. We need a better midfield before a left back. I still believe in Shaw. Jose needs to give him more of a chance. Luke Shaw should be our left back, but I tell you what, Mourinho will never play Luke Shaw ahead of Ashley Young. That's why we need to sign a left back. I like Luke Shaw, but Mourinho will never play Luke Shaw ahead of Ashley Young, which means we need to sign a left back, because if Ashley Young's our left back, we ain't winning anything. we need to start doing stuff in the transfer window. You're right, Yankee. I mean, he's saying let's get rid of Jones and Smalling as well. We need to start doing something in the transfer window, don't we? We really do. We really do. Modric to United. We can dream, Michael Hubbard. We can dream. Good question here from Showground. He says, would you take Willian and Savic or Bale or Ronaldo, but no Savic? Look, I can't refuse Ronaldo coming to United. It won't happen, but I could not refuse that eventuality. But it would still be paper in the cracks because we'd still need another midfielder. Whether we sign Savic or not, we still need another midfielder for the reasons I've said. Yeah, Finn, I've heard Jordan Henderson might be available. God, makes me shiver. Nainggolan's gone to Inter Milan for 20 million. I mean, that worries me a little bit. That worries me a little bit because he's in a midfielder that's available anyway. Anyway, what a show. What a show. I like their shows when it's passionate and it's 100 miles an hour and people are chucking their comments in and you're firing me up a little bit. So I want to say, look, if your opinion's different to mine or not, that's the whole point of United Stand. That's what it's here. It's all about fan opinion and it's all about interaction. So, and if you're not watching live, make sure you drop your comments in below and I'll get replying to some of those. But thanks to everybody in the live comments. It doesn't matter if you disagree with me about Milinkovic-Savic or not, because it's your opinion, that's fine. But it spurs the show anyway, and we got going and we really went down some real good avenues there. So I really appreciate that. Thanks everyone who's enjoyed it. Please do drop a like on the video. We're back again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. We probably will have a show in the morning as well. 9 o'clock while the World Cup's on. But really enjoyed that. That's been the best show we've done in a long time. So thanks to everybody. It was great to be able to watch Milinkovic-Savic, then go live and talk about it. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Brilliant video. You're absolutely brilliant on the live comments. I mean, I've enjoyed absolutely, like Snap says, the chat's been on fire. You've been brilliant. I'm going to go and have a beer now. But you make the show good. I spur off you. Even if it's a different opinion, I spur off you. So thanks everybody for the live comments. You're absolutely brilliant. BetBull, link in the video description. Get yourself on that if you're having a bet over 18. And also, the latest on Sandro. If you don't know what the latest with Alex Sandro is, click the eye in the top right hand corner. That will take you through to Transfer Daily I did this morning. And there's been a big development around Alex Sandro and Manchester United. So click the eye in the top right hand corner and go and get that. It'll take you a couple of minutes just to listen to the first 2 minutes there. Thanks everyone for watching. Alex Sandro update, top right hand corner. Please do drop a like on the video and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Have a safe evening and thanks everyone in the live comments and thanks everyone who's going to drop the comments in below because it's a great topic to discuss and I'm sure it's one we'll revisit again. Thanks for watching.